Hello, my name is Brad Spinner, and I am developing a final budget for an athletic department. This assignment was difficult and time consuming. It started off with each person in class choosing a sport and then developing a wish list and a budget, an itemized budget to go along with this wish list. Once each student, each classmate had completed their wish lists, the lists were compiled into a spreadsheet where the each sports budget was totaled up, and the total for the entire program's wish list was around $193,000 and some change. Our Professor Cunningham, then told us that our budget for the athletic department was $92,000. So we were charged with having to cut approximately $100,000 out of the initial budget requests. So my idea to decide what things to cut was to first figure out how much $92,000 was out of the 193,000 initial budget request. And I found out that 92,000 is about 47.5% of the initial budget requested of 193,000. So what I did was I took everybody's individual sports and their wish lists and the budget for their wish lists and multiplied it times 47.5%. The resulting budget, the result was a target that I could shoot for each individual sports budget. And then I could cut items from that budget till I reached that target for each individual sport. After doing that for each individual sport, then the total athletic department's budget would be cut by 47.5% as well. And we would meet our target budget of 92,000. We were also asked to choose one big budget item of something that's worth over $10,000. There were actually three submitted items that were over $10,000. Wrestling asked for a new wrestling mat, which was over $10,000. Boys track, asked for a new pole vault pit, and it was over $10,000. And baseball asked for a new scoreboard for their baseball field, and it was over $10,000. And in the end, I chose to go with the baseball scoreboard as my big budget item that I included in my overall budget. Also, some universal cuts that I chose to do. I chose to cut any shoes purchased by an athletic program. I don't believe that shoes should be part of the athletic budget because athletes will own them after they are bought for them. And anytime that the athlete owns the item, I feel like that should be purchased by the athlete themselves or fundraised by the program and should not be the responsibility of the athletic department. The the uniform requests, I cut half of them, and I ended up with 12 of the 24 sports I was able to buy uniforms for. I bought new uniforms for the boys and girls cross country team, the boys and girls track team, the boys and girls tennis teams, the boys and girls volleyball teams, the dance team, the field hockey team, wrestling, and boys basketball. I was able to get uniforms for those programs. Seeing that half of the programs were able to get new uniforms for this budget. Next year's budget, I would then be able to accommodate the other half of the sports new uniforms requests. I would then implement a 5-year uniform cycle, which means years 1 and 2 are going to be front loaded as far as cost for uniforms, but years 3, 4, and 5, there would be a significant drop in uniform cost because there would be no new uniforms to purchase, which would allow for the bigger budget items like the track pole vault and like the wrestling mat would then become available to be purchased in those off years when uniforms aren't being purchased. After making cuts, I was able to get to $88,000 and some change, which means that I was able to come in almost $4,000 under budget, which leaves us with a surplus. I thought about maybe using the $4,000 to buy coaching shirts for the coaching staff, or maybe use it towards one of the sports that weren't able to get as much as they wanted. But in the end, I think that what I would do with that $4,000, I would probably use it as savings for rainy day in case we had to replace emergency to replace, say, a basketball backboard breaks, something like that. I would have that on hand as a surplus to be able to pay for those type of things. So coming in $4,000, I was pretty pleased with that, the ability to do that, and I felt that I was pretty fair in giving each program an equal percentage of what they requested. 47.5% of what my target goal was. Some of the programs came in under the 47%, even less. Some of them came in over, and it kind of balanced out. And it would be something I'd have to work at in the future to make sure that I could get more programs to balance out about the same. It turns out that the ones that came in over budget, over the programs that came in over their budget a little bit, was the ones who got new uniforms typically, which means then the following year the uniforms would cause the other programs to be over budget. So it would kind of, over a 2-year period, the programs would balance out to about the same. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you very much.